This is the inside of the Elddis Majestic 175. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on just here. Beside that we have water pump on and off. Whenever the water pump is running, the green light will illuminate to let you know. Down here we have isolator for the majority of the onboard lights. These can then be all individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then we have awning light on and off just here. Here we can view the condition of the leisure battery, and here we can view how much water is in the fresh tank. So at the moment we just have a minimal amount. This switch here just does the overhead lighting. Beneath the main control panel we then have the control panel for the whale heating and hot water system. So you'll see we have water heater here and heating here. If we start with the water heater, you'll see it's in the off position at the moment, and as I begin to press the button it will go over a series of icons until it eventually ends up back at off. So if we start with the first one, a little picture of a snowflake, this is the boiler's frost protection mode. So if you have water in the boiler but you don't necessarily want to be heating it, you can put it into this mode here and it will just put a residual amount of heat into the water to avoid any frost damage. Next we have one wavy line. Wavy lines represent mains electricity, and I always round it up just to make it easier. So this would be main supply using about 1 kilowatt. After that we have main supply using about 2 kilowatts. So this is very dependent on the amperage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. If we have no main supply, we can heat hot water using gas by using the little picture of the flame just here. And if we have both power sources available, we can use dual fuel, so a mixture of gas and mains at 1 kilowatt and a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatts. This setting here is very handy if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you are using the van in extremely cold climate. And as you can see, whenever you are consuming gas, the little flame will just appear there. If we now move to the heating, again, as you can see, series of icons until we eventually end up back at off. So again, wavy line, main supply, this time using about 500 watts. And then we have main supply at 1 kilowatt and then main supply at 2 kilowatts. Again, we then have gas on its own and then the dual fuel setting. Control the temperature just on the plus and the minus just here. Well, recommend running on the moon setting just here if you need your heating on whilst you're asleep. It will just maintain a temperature of about 16 degrees. And again, whenever you're consuming gas, you will get a little flame appear. If there's a problem with either the water heater or the heating, you will get a red exclamation mark either appear here for the water heater or here for the heating. Once the red exclamation mark appears, just hold down the relevant button and you'll get a series of little red lights appear, and then within the manual you'll be able to diagnose what the fault is. If it's something relatively easy, like you haven't got main supply due to tripping, or you haven't got the lead plugged in, or if you're trying to run it on gas and you've depleted your gas, once you've rectified the problem you will need to reset the control panel. So if it's a water heater issue, just hold the tap in and then press the plus button at the same time, and if it's the heating, again hold the heating and then the plus at the same time, and the red exclamation marks will disappear. As you can see, the flames will go out depending on how, in this particular dual fuel mode, just depending on how much power it actually requires. And then we can then just end up back at off. If we now go over to the front bench seat just here and remove the cushions. So if I now just lift up, we have plenty of storage beneath. We also have the gas isolation tap there just for the hot water. And then here we have the boiler itself. To drain the boiler down for winterization, all we need to do is just make sure the water pump is turned off and then just turn this lever like so, and then it will begin to drop all the water out the boiler. To refill it, make sure it's back in the position that it's in, fill up the fresh water tank, turn on the 12 volt and then the water pump, and it will then begin to reprime the boiler back up again. You will probably need to open the taps up to push out any air that may be in the system. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose and the system will fully reprime itself. If for any reason you do get that red exclamation mark error and it will not clear down, the boiler does have a hard reset button just here. It's a lot easier to do this as a two-person job. Have one person staring at the control panel whilst the other person just keeps pressing this red button until the red exclamation mark disappears. The heating system is just located here. The heating does also have a hard reset button. This is not quite so easy to get to. It is tucked down here. You will need a torch and you will need something long like a screwdriver to be able to press it. Under the other bench seat we again have more storage. We also have underneath here the back of the leisure battery box. You'll also find the main 25 amp fuse just here, and tucked down here the gas isolation tap for the heating. The consumer unit just sits here, and we have the main strip switches just here. So we've got the individual MCBs all labelled up. We then have the main RCD and the test button just here. So if anything's not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped at this point here. And we then have the 12 volt fuses just here, and again if anything's not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you have blown a fuse. Also with this model of motorhome, it is fitted with automatic tank heaters. So if the switch is in the on position, and the switch is just located here, so let me just see if I can just show you. It's just tucked down just there. So as long as it's in the on position, if there's water in the tanks and the temperature outside drops below about 3-4 degrees, the tank heaters will come on to avoid any frost damage. TV bracket just here, and then we have a main socket, 12 volt socket, TV aerial fly lead in point just here, and 2 USB charge points. The television aerial is just located here. So we have the digital amplifier just here, on and off just underneath. TV aerial mast, just undo and then push the mast up and then get it into the position that you require. Lock it into place and then tune your television in. You can also flip the TV aerial from the horizontal to the vertical position for additional tuning. Just turn the tail just here. Do make sure that the aerial is down for travel. Omnivent fan just here. To raise the roof vent, just wind, and then we have a button in the middle to turn the unit on, and then we have arrows out and arrows in, so extraction and cooling, and it's variable fan speed just by pressing. do make sure that all roof vents are down for travel. In the locker above the microwave is the solar panel regulator. You do not need to do anything with this, it will just smart charge the leisure battery as it's required. And then we also have the isolator switch for the microwave. With the microwave, do make sure that all contents are removed for travel. And then we have quick start, stop just here, power settings, wait time, defrost, etc. We can also set the time, wait, etc. on here. Beneath that is the Majestic fridge, on and off just here. 2-pin socket for running the fridge on mains electricity. If we have no mains connected, we can run it on gas. These particular fridge freezers will auto ignite themselves. If it fails to light, it will begin to beep at you and you'll get a red flashing light just here. You can make it try to relight itself again just by pressing the button. And then lastly, we have 12-volt maintain. We're going to get an error code at the moment because the engine's currently not running, and this is the setting we have it on to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. Temperature control just here. And we have the large freezer box. This can be removed if required. Hob just here. So we've got the electric hot plate just here. So like the microwave will work when the motorhome's connected to main supply. Operates just here, and the red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. Then we have the 3 gas rings. Just push in, twist, and then push the igniter just here. And then beneath that is the grill. Again, push in, twist, and then push the igniter. And then the oven. Beneath the oven you'll find the gas isolation taps for the hob and the oven itself, and you'll also find the plug for the electric hot plate. Across from that, in this storage compartment here, you'll find the gas isolation tap for the fridge. Washroom at the rear. So we have the basin and the shower cubicle. Do make sure that the shower doors are shut for travel. And then we have the Thetford toilet. Open to the cassette just here. Push to flush on top. Do make sure the water pump is on, or otherwise it will not flush. And then level indicator just here. Wardrobe. So we have the freestanding table just there, and then more storage. Attached to the roof is the PIR sensor for the alarm. Just press the button every now and then just to make sure it's operating. It does require batteries. And then at the front you will find carbon monoxide alarm and the smoke alarm. Again, just press the buttons every now and then just to make sure that they're all operating correctly. Both seats swivel, as you can see, and they swivel just by pulling the levers just here. Normal stuff to slide it backwards and forwards on the bar that just sits underneath, and they're also height adjustable on the two levers just here. On this model you can either have two nice long single beds or alternatively have a double, and with the double all that is required is that you just slightly lift up and then just pull out, and then do the same on the other side, and then just drop the cushions into place. There is no real right or wrong way to use these 4 cushions. I personally flip them over because that way they're not quite so lumpy.